Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Saturday, January 27th at Gulfstream Park. Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting. The Grade 1 Pegasus World Championship Invitational is the culmination of a big stakes-laden card at Gulfstream on Saturday. So we're going to take a look at that and then give you a late pick 4 play and talk about the potential for a huge Sunday as well if things play out just right. But, Jim, let's jump into the 12th race, the Grade 1 Pegasus. And you've got Gunrunner, going to be the heavy favorite in there. Can you beat him? It's your horse.
Well, I've got to take Gunrunner. I mean, I loved him in the Classic. I loved him all year long. Giroux is my favorite jockey, so I don't know how I can pick against him. But when we get to the pick 4, I'm going to do some alternate tickets. One of them obviously is going to single Gunrunner, but I'm going to throw another ticket in there with another single for the same price and let you see what you think about that. If you do have some alternative opinions in here, and there are some alternative opinions. I think Gunrunner drawing the 10-hole does not help him at all. That short run to the stretch and lots of other speed in there. I mean, Sharp Azteca drew the 4, which is absolutely perfect for him. He's stretching out. Don't know if he'll want a mile and an eighth, but he very likely will be on the lead, and Gunrunner's got to track him. Somebody's got to challenge Sharp Azteca on the lead, and I think if he gets away with an easy lead, he may be tough to run down. West Coast comes out of the Breeders' Cup Classic, well rested, collected. The other Baffert ran back in the San Antonio, and it looked like just a prep race for this. I don't think they were trying to win the Grade 2 San Antonio at 3-10. Didn't run very well, got beat by giant expectations, but I expect him to rebound and have a big effort here. So I think those are my top choices. I think Stellar Wind is an interesting alternative. You might get 20-1 on her. She didn't run well at all in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, but she got a terrible start and just never had a chance. Forever Unbridled was going to win that race no matter what. But she's multiple Grade 1 against the fillies, and if you go back to the Zenyatta at Santa Anita last year, she ran a 110 buyer. That doesn't fit too badly with the best ones in here in case Gunrunner does have some trouble from the outside or doesn't fire his best shot. So I'm going to throw those in there. I think those 5 are the ones that can win the race. I would really be shocked if it goes past those. I'm going to be somewhat shocked if Gunrunner doesn't run a big one and close out his career with a huge win. I was thinking yesterday that the $7 million first prize, if you calculate Florent Giroux's salary based on an hourly wage, that's $21 million an hour. $700,000 for 2 minutes times 30 is $21 million an hour. I think he may be the highest paid athlete in the world for that period of time if Gunrunner wins. And, of course, so those other guys, Castellano, Rosario, Mike Smith, all those other guys can do the same thing. It's an amazing amount of money. I don't blame him for taking a shot, but I'm really pulling for Gunrunner to pull it off.
I'm going to try and beat him with Sharp Azteca. I think if Sharp Azteca's ever going to win at a mile and an eighth, it's going to be on that track. And I think he has the chance to be the controlling speed. It's not like there's no speed in there, but I think he's the fastest, and I think he'll control it. And as you mentioned, he's got a really good draw. He loves Gulfstream. Got a speed figure 115 in the Cigar Mile, that something around that neighborhood makes him a contender if he can repeat it at a mile and an eighth. But this is an ideal setup to get a mile and an eighth for this horse, and he's training superbly. So home court advantage, etc. I'm going to take Sharp Azteca to try to get the upset, and I think there's got a good shot he could run second. And if they bet heavier on the Bafferts, maybe you get a decent price even if he runs second to one of the others. Gunrunner's got to be the one to beat. I like West Coast. I almost went to West Coast. And Toast of New York, I think, on his best day, could be in the mix. And this horse comes at a long layoff, and then this is a spot where, if he's here, they must think he's somewhere back to his old self. So I'm going to throw him in there as well in the race. I don't think so in the pick. I think I'm going to use him in the pick 4 just because it's going to cost too much. But within the race, I'm going to have a Sharp Azteca Toast of New York ticket in there too. But much heavier with Sharp Azteca boxed with Gunrunner and Sharp Azteca boxed with West Coast for me in the Pegasus. Now, the pick 4 starts in the 9th race with the Grade 3 Hurricane Bertie for fillies and mares 4 and up at 7 furlongs. I took Spice Lady here, coming out of just an allowance win, but that was the first start off a layoff for Pletcher, and I've seen him before. Gets one, comes off a layoff, wins a nice allowance race, and he goes shopping for a steak. And so that's what he's doing with her. She got 2 wins at Gulfstream, which I like. So I think Spice Lady has a shot to jump up and win this at a little bit of a price. And I think another price horse down the rails, Marley's Freedom, that intrigues me. I think it was a 94 buyer. Got to use Curlin's approval. And Rich Mommy's the other one I'm going to use. So 8, 1, 7, and 3, 4 horses. I will use in my pick 4 in there. How about you in the Hurricane, Bertie?
We are exactly the same with our 4 horses. I got them in a little bit different order. I like Curlin's approval a lot here. I think I think he chooses the class of the race. And Luis Saez is as hot as anybody I've ever seen at Gulfstream. He won 7 races on Wednesday. So Curlin's approval, the 7 horse, would be my pick in here. 4 for 9 at the distance, 7 for 11 at Gulfstream. Lots of reasons to go that way. But the horses that you mentioned, Marley's Freedom ran well in the Grade 1 La Brea, and Hess ships her cross country. I'm sure she caught a ride with some of the other California horses shipping for the Pegasus. But Mike Smith rides her, and last time he rode her, she won by 4.5 at Del Mar. So I think she's got a real shot in here. Rich Mommy, the 3, won the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl last time out at Gulfstream. So I had a perfect prep race and 4 for 9 at Gulfstream as well. And then your horse, the Spice Lady, is very lightly raced filly. Only has 3 lifetime starts, but she won an allowance race at Gulfstream at 7 furlongs, about 5.5 last time out. So Pletcher is hot down there, 29% win rate. So I think those 4 horses are the likely winners, and they're the same 4 that I would use in the pick 4.
Let's go to the 10th race, the Gulfstream Turf Sprint, 5 furlongs, 4-year-olds and up. And I would like to go deeper than I will in here. I don't think this is a sure thing. But where did you land in the Turf Sprint?
I don't think it's a sure thing at all. I'm 5 deep in here. Wish I could go deeper. The horse that I like the best, simply because of the home court advantage, 8 for 10 at Gulfstream and 9 for 13 at the distance, is Pay Any Price. Zayas is going to have this one gunning for the lead from the 8-hole, and they're only going 5 furlongs. This is going to be a speed duel, and he looks to be the best of the speed, but I'm not sure that he can clear these other horses. So I want to use Richard's Boy, the 7, shipping from the West Coast for Peter Miller. Almost won the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Only got beat ahead by Stormy Liberal at 13-1. So I think Richard's Boy has a big shot. I think Successful Native, the 1, has a shot. Although stuck in the 1 hole, they're going to have to send him, and I'm not sure if he's as quick as Pay Any Price. And then Oak Bluffs, the 4, has gotten beat by a couple of these horses, but I think he's got a shot. If it turns into a speed duel, he might be the best closer. And then the other horse that I liked was Rainbow Air for Jason Service, only because Jason Service spots him so well. This horse is 13 for 30 lifetime, and just has a second at Gulfstream on one race, but I read Ortiz picks it up. So I'm going to go 5 deep in here. Pay Any Price, the 8, is my play, and I would play that horse over the 1, 4, 6, 7 in the exact as it tries.
Yeah, I'm around the same ones. Pay Any Price was my pick. Love the record at Gulfstream, and third start off a layoff could be his best. Richard's Boy shipped across country and run well before, so I think he's a definite player. I like Rainbow Air for the service angle. So those 3 are the ones I like best. Successful Native I had written down, as well as number 2, Conquest Enforcer, just because I'm making a second start for Cassie, and this horse could improve at a price. So that one's dangerous. Within the race, I think I might use just a 5-horse box of all of those, and if I could get the 1 or the 2 in there, it could pay nice. But I'll trim it down a little bit for the pick 4 when we get there. The 11th race is the South Beach. They're on the turf there at 7.5 furlongs, which is 2 turns at Gulfstream, so it's a short run into the first turn. So don't normally like the outside posts, and some of the leading contenders are drawn outside. So I went to Team of Teams. Johnny V is taking this mount, which intrigues me. This horse has run well at Gulfstream. And with the favorites drawn outside, I was looking for somebody a little closer to the rail, and I think at a price, I'm going to try this horse. Got to use Stormy Victoria, the 9, and Celestine, the 11. The next one I had on my list was Westit, the 1. I just don't like I think it's like 1 for 14, so I don't like that win record. But for Graham Motion, hadn't run that often in Motion's barn, so that one's dangerous. Storm the Hill is another one to consider. How about you in the South Beach?
Yeah, this is one of those days that we don't talk about it beforehand, but sometimes we wind up on the same horses. And Celestine is my pick here, but I do not like the 11 hole. She's the class of the race. She's 5 for 8 at Gulfstream. She's 6 for 10 at distance. She's a Grade 1 winner. But if she needs one, and she is off a little bit of a layoff, and if that 11 hole does hurt her, I like Stormy Victoria, the 9 for Clement, barely missed in the My Charmer last. Perfect prep for this one. I like Team of Teams, out of respect for Johnny Velasquez and Jimmy Jerkins, the 5 horse that you mentioned. I like Ghostly Presence at 12, but again, Atfield, this one's hung on the outside, so that's not a plus. And then I did use Wested in my pick 4 for Grand Motion, 1 for 14 lifetime, but the 3 races over here have been very consistent and almost won the Tropical Park Oaks last time out at Gulfstream. So sets up well for her run as well. So that's the ones I would use, but Celestine is my pick here. It'd be a very strong pick if she had drawn better. But from the 11th hole, Jose can probably get a trip out there, and she's much the best quality-wise in here. So
yeah,
she's my pick in the South Beach.
I'm like you. If she were drawn better, I would like her a lot more. So let's go back to the 9th race. Pick 4. I'm going to start with the 1, 3, 7, 8. In the sprint, I'm going to use 3 horses: Pay Any Price, Rainbow Air, Richard's Boy. So 6, 7, and 8. In the South Beach, Team of Teams, Stormy Victoria, Celestine. If your budget allows it, add Westet. So 1, 5, 9, 11. And then in the last leg in the Pegasus, I'm going to use Sharp Azteca, West Coast, and Gun Runner. So 2, 4, and 10. It's a little bit of a pricier ticket than I normally would give out on this podcast. So if you need to trim it down, take out Westet, and that'll trim it down a little bit. But this was a hard one because I just couldn't find a single anywhere that I could take a strong enough stand with. So this one was a hard ticket to pare down. How about your pick 4 ticket?
Well, it's a big day. You should have a bigger budget on this one anyway, because the pools are going to be big, and the multiple leg leg races are tough to hit with big fields. So I think you should spend a little more money. I've got 2 tickets, each at $50. The first ticket that I had uses those 4 horses that we talked about in the same 4 you have, 1, 3, 7, 8, with Curlin's approval, the top pick in that leg. And then in my second leg, I would go 5 deep with the 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, and that is Successful Native, Oak Bluffs, Rainbow Air, Richard's Boy, and Pay Any Price, with Pay Any Price being the top pick. Then in the third leg on my first ticket, I would go 5 deep there with Westet the 1, Team of Teams the 5, and then the 9 horse Stormy Victoria, the 11 Celestine, which is my top pick, and the 12 Ghostly Presence. And then I would single Gun Runner on that ticket. So that's 4 by 5 by 5 by 1, which is $50. I would also back that up. If you don't like Gun Runner to be a single, I would single Celestine in the next to last race and use 5 horses in the Pegasus, and that would be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and that would be using the horses that we discussed there: West Coast, Stellar Wind, Sharp Azteca, Collected, and Gun Runner. Each one of those tickets is $50. If you get both your singles right, you can hit it twice for $100.
And then there is a pick 5 that starts in the 8th race, and if folks want to do a pick 5 ticket, there's a horse you like a lot in the 8th. I
think it's a free square in the 8th. I think that Bullard's Alley is by far the class of this race. If he runs anywhere close to what he ran in the Canadian International, where he won by 10, and then the Breeders' Cup Turf, where he only got beat by 4 lengths to Talismanic and Beach Patrol and Highland Reel, I think he wins this. So you can take the pick 4 ticket and just play a pick 5, singling the 5 horse there, and for the same money, and it will probably pay 6 or 7 times as much as the pick 4 will play.
And then if the pick 6 does not get hit, the Rainbow 6 on this day, that could lead to a huge day on Sunday, right?
Yeah, Gulfstream, they handle that pick 6 very well. They say, okay, we don't think it's going to get hit through the Pegasus card, so we're going to pay it out on Sunday, the day after Pegasus. So it's probably going to be, if it doesn't get hit on Friday or Saturday, it's going to be over a $4 million carryover, so I would assume they would get over $10 million in additional money. So you're playing into a $14, $15 million pool at a 20-cent play, and we haven't seen Sunday's entries yet. I would imagine they are going to be full fields of really tough races. So if nothing else, just take a shot at it, because it's a life-changing score if you hit it, and the money is incredible. And they've managed this pick six at Gulfstream very well, where they've got a lot of interest in it for a long time, and they go the big day. They're taking a shot that if Gun Runner, if Baller Tally, if some of those favorites win, it's very likely that it won't get hit on Saturday, and they're going to look for another big day on Sunday.
Best of luck with your Saturday wagers, and Sunday too if you are playing the carryover pool if it's there. And we'll be back next week for another edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.